What is up? Welcome back to the BioGlitch YouTube channel. We're going to get started with GitHub and Git today. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. So GitHub and Git, what are these, right? That's what we're going to learn about today. Well, GitHub is a web-based platform that we use to, that uses Git for our version control, and we can use some other features for collaborating with people, managing our projects. There's many more things that we can do. One of the main things I want to show you guys though is what we can use it for as far as building our portfolio and pretty much hosting a free website, right? And later down the line, we'll use Git, which is going to be a version control that helps us track our changes to our files. We can collaborate once again with many other people with their projects or our own personal projects. And then we're going to talk about some of the key concepts to get into or to understand as we dive into our GitHub knowledge. So when you get time, let's go over to the GitHub web page. So what we're going to do is just go to Bing, Google, YouTube, or not YouTube, Yahoo, whatever you use, and we're going to search up GitHub and pretty much find github.com, or just type github.com. I'm going to open this inside of a incognito browser because I'm already logged into my account, just to show you guys what to expect or what to see, right? So you see here, you got this beautiful interface that they've designed to make it very easy and streamlined for us. Just simply go here to sign in or sign up. Pretty sure if you're new, you're going to sign up, and you get this wonderful interface once again to sign up with your email and password. Once you do that, go ahead and set your account up for the free account, create a username and password, and then pretty much just come back and follow up with the next part. So in this next part, once you get to your GitHub account, you're going to see this, not this page here, you'll see this page here. Okay, this page here, this is going to be your GitHub dashboard. In this dashboard, you're going to see your recent activity, of course. You're going to see your repositories over here on the left. You're going to see this homepage feed. You're going to see any changes that they've made inside of GitHub or in any other repositories. And then it's going to have this explore repository section here where you can explore with other developers or with their repositories and pitch in, learn, whatever the case may be. First thing we're going to talk about is how to set up a new repository, right? So click over here on your profile icon, go to your profile, and what you'll see here is pretty much your personal dashboard, right? And this is going to be broken down into what I like to call 3 layers, right? So you have this info left side here, right? And this is going to have all your social media links, your website link, your time zone, and where you live, and then what company you work for. I have my personal business here. Then it's going to show how many people you follow, your username, and your image there. If you see mine, yes, it looks like I don't do anything on here and I'm not following my own, practicing what I preach, is what you would say. And that's because I never really used this personal GitHub account here, but I wanted to bring it alive for you guys and start from scratch with you guys so we can work together, and I can show you how to build production level accounts and portfolios. So you'll see I have 3 here, 3 repositories, one .github.io repository, one for my website that is actually live, and then one for the modern web page tutorial, which if you followed on our YouTube channel, you would know that this repository is up, and you're able to take some of the code from here and learn more from there. Right under there is what you're going to see in your contribution. So each year from the moment that you've created your GitHub account, it's going to show you how many contributions you've done. So you see, I made this way back in 2022, didn't use it at all, and that's because I have 2 other GitHub accounts that I use, and one is for my business, for my employees and the people that I like hire freelance wise, and then the other one is just a fun one that I use to learn different things on. So this is going to be my main GitHub account going forward, where I can work with you guys and show you the steps that I've done on my other ones to get them to a nice looking GitHub account. So if you see in 2024, I have way more contributions and commits. And as you see, you get this little, what would we call it, like a tab here, or not a tab, but what do you call it? Oh man, I'm brain fart. Anyways, you get this here that shows the less you commit, the darker it gets for the green, and it's pretty much gray. And the more you commit, you get a brighter green here, right? So you see I got a really bright green here for July 9th. That's because I did 12 contributions. But if you see here, I only did 2 contributions, so we got this little less dark or light green here. That's going to show how much you commit, and pretty much we want it to always be this light green here, right? So if you see, I did 8 contributions, pretty bright. I did 12 contributions, pretty bright. And pretty much the weight of your contributions holds a brighter color as well. So if you did a very big commit, you're gonna have a brighter green. If you did a very small commit, but you still did something, then you're gonna have this here. Or one really big commit, then you have something like this here, right? And that's just a breakdown of commit. So let's talk about repositories. Let's go to repositories here. And in this tab up here, and what we're going to do is create a new repository, right? So whatever your username is, I want you to create a repository with your username, right? So whatever your username is, and then do .github.io. I'm not truly going to use this because this isn't with my username right there, right? So this isn't going to be anything that I use, but what you want to do is put a small description in and just say this is a test for my GitHub YouTube tutorial, or this is a repository for my GitHub account, and make it public because we want everyone to see it, right? And then we can talk about README files later. We'll add a README file in a later video, or if you want, you can take some time out and do some research on what a README file is. But pretty much a README is going to be some type of description, like a instruction manual for what your web page or what your repository or project is all about. So right from start to finish, what is all going into this repository, and that's with updates, right? You can not even worry about these git ignore here, and if you want to choose a license, you can definitely do your research on licensing. I can do a whole video on what a license is, right? But this license is pretty much saying, hey, you guys can or can't take this code and do something else with it, right? So look into the license. If you do want to do like a generic license, just go ahead and do an MIT license. That's pretty much what everyone does with some of their generic projects. But click repository, and right now you should see something that says your username, or whatever your actual username is, .github.io, and you can see that you can set up in desktop, or you can upload using an existing file, get started by creating a new file, various things. So now that you have that understanding on how to create your account, how to create a repository, let's talk about some of the things you can do with Git itself, right? So now that we have a repository, there's a couple things that we can do with Git itself, right? So I'm going to go back to my other github.io repository that is up and running, and what we're going to talk about is what the repository itself is. Well, this is just a directory or a folder that contains the project files and the history of all the changes. So you see I have 20 commits, right? So if you click commits here, you can see every single commit that I've done in the past 20 commits, right? And it looks like this goes back to February 18th, 2024. So you can see all those changes. It's going to detail them with the comments that you put in each commit. And now that we're talking about commits, a commit is just going to be some type of snapshot or data log or change, pretty much. So a commit is a change, but it's like a snapshot or data log of what you've done to your repository at a specific time. So each commit has a timestamp or a date and timestamp, and these are pretty much going to be what builds your portfolio in your GitHub account. And as we've seen in a previous dashboard, those little green boxes were all commits, right? So you want to make sure that you're committing at least every day, if not every other day, just to have your GitHub account and profile look really nice to future employers or other developers who may want you to collaborate on their projects, right? And that's what I'm going to help you guys here with on this channel, is developing a GitHub account and portfolio that's going to be something that can stand out and look amazing to other people. Another thing we're going to talk about here is a branch. So if you see here, I'm working out of the main branch in my GitHub account, but I have two branches, right? So one branch is going to be a test branch. As you see, I just made this, I had to stop the video for some reason. But as you see, I have a test branch, right? So a branch is just going to be some type of parallel to your current repository, right? Or to that directory. So this is going to allow you to work on different features inside of your code or your projects, or you can fix things simultaneously. So I can run a fix or feature in my test branch, and I can download that or get that repository branch and test it out, see how it works. And then if I want to, we can get into the fourth topic here, which is I can merge this into my main branch, right? So in further videos, I'll definitely show you guys how to do that. And it's very, very simple when you're using the GitHub desktop app or software. If you don't have that downloaded, go ahead and download that from that repository screen when you made your new repository. Just download the desktop app for GitHub, log in, and that's where some of our latter videos are going to be hosted from, is that GitHub branch. So the reason why I wanted you to make the github.io from your username is because there's two things that we can do. We can remotely view our account, or we can remotely access our account. So our repository here is with the github.io is what we can use for our portfolio. And as you see, I have my index files here, got some video files, styles, script, images, so on and so forth. This is all of my HTML files here. So if you notice, I can go clanscott.github.io, and it's going to go to a web page. This web page looks terrible. Do not judge me. This is just something that I slapped some of my project information on, and I use to kind of track some of my latest projects, right? So anything that I'm working on, I kind of just slap into here, and I just build off of this on another web page or application or software. So if you see, this is an actually functional web page where you guys can go to it. So if you have your account set up, you got some HTML and CSS files and TypeScript and Tailwind, whatever the case is, go ahead and you can slap your repository below with whatever your name is, github.io. We can all check it out. Everyone can pitch in, and we can become a strong community like that, because everyone will start getting those green boxes inside of their GitHub account at that point. But with that being said, as you see, we have this README file section here where we can add a README. Like I said, we can get into that a little bit later, where we can add a really nice README. If you want an example, you can check out the modern web page tutorial repository I have, and that will pretty much show you a basic layout of what a README will look like. And I'll actually do a video on how to use the README .md file, right? And that is a video in itself, because you're almost doing markup as well, like you would do in HTML for that README file. It's pretty interesting how to use it, right? So now that we pretty much talked about Git and GitHub, the only thing that you have left to do is to actually use GitHub by putting some files inside of your account and waiting for them to load up. Obviously, this is pretty much only going to work with an HTML file when you're using it as a web page, but make another repository. You might want to make a repository for Python and your knowledge of Python, and showing off some of your different projects and skills for employers or your professors at college, or maybe in high school you just want to show your teachers and friends, anything you want, you pretty much can put inside of there. So some of the best practices that we really want to go over is making sure we commit often, right? So it looks like my last commit was 3 months ago. I'm not practicing what I'm preaching with this repository here, right? But make sure you're committing often, you're making frequent changes with clear messages, right? So I didn't do too much detail here, right? I just removed an HTML file from this directory on the last commit. I removed some old files that I didn't need anymore. I removed the footer styling from this style, and I did a site redo on these videos, whatever that means, right? And then I merged the branch of this GitHub account here. So that must have been something I did on the GitHub desktop app. And then I fixed an icon here, right? So that's a clear message, like, okay, you just changed some icons, remove some files, whatever. You can go into more detail if you want. The second thing that you really want to practice a lot is using your branches, right? So I didn't use a branch for this github.io because I had developed this web page pretty much in one day. As you see, as crappy as it is, it's pretty obvious, but I do have this test branch here that I can begin using. That's going to help me develop some test code that I can fix in separate styling, or I can fix separate HTML files or separate scripts for my JavaScript, so on and so forth, right? So there's multiple things I can do there. Back to going to commit or committing messages here, just clearly describe what changes you made and why. This is going to help any developer or any project manager who's going to help you or look at some of your code, understand what change you made and then why you made the change, right? So you never want to tell anyone making a commit to my HTML file. Well, what change did you make, right? So like here, you see I did an icon fix, right? So what is icon fix number 2? Well, it must have been an icon fix number 1 that pretty much describe what the icon was, right? This could have been a favicon, which goes inside of your browser up top here in the tab. It could have been a multitude of things. What exactly did you do, right? So obviously I should have made a better commit comment there, or message there. Number 4, pull updates regularly, right? So keep your local repository up to date with the remote repository is something you should definitely practice. And by that, whatever you have on your desktop on your repository, and in our case, what we're going to do here, whatever you have on your desktop and your repository, make sure that it matches what's in your GitHub account, right? You don't want to have 2 different things, because what'll happen is you may go to do some changes and updates that fixed a production level code, but you didn't save it locally. So now when you go back to save into your remote repository, you may have destroyed your code because you didn't make those changes. So try to keep everything up to date, fluent, and uniform when you're working with your GitHub account. Do some code reviews, right? So even if you're not working in a group, you're working by yourself on your own personal projects, do a pull request and review your code before merging, right? So when we're doing a pull request, pretty much if you go to your GitHub desktop, or if you do something out of the command line, you can do a git pull, and you can pull this repository or pull the last merge, and you can go over that code and review it, and then you can go ahead and merge it, and you can take some notes on it, do some testing, and so on and so forth. Lastly, document your code. Inside of your code, if you know how to comment inside of your code, please by all means make clear and concise documentation in your code. Don't just leave it as comments inside of your code, documentation in your code, also place it in your repository, right? So pretty much paraphrase the code that you put inside of the comment that you put inside of your code, paraphrase it and use it as a commit if you need. Whatever you need to do, make sure you make clear and concise documentation in your repository and in your code, because this is going to help documentation wise, what changes were made, what changes are coming next, what changes were undid or undone, and whatever your plan of action is for later on down the line, right? So I thank you guys for watching this video. Pretty much we just covered some of the basic fundamentals or basic practices of working with Git and GitHub. And then we'll have a video come out later for some more detailed information as we start using our GitHub desktop software to commit to some of our other repositories and some of our other code. So I thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, like, and share the video. See you guys in the next one.